Hello, it's Mike Rasmussen, CPA Straight Talk for Small Business on, what is today? Wednesday, right? August 12th. How's everybody doing? I am under some new equipment here, so you know what? Might be just a tad nervous, but that's okay. We are working towards bringing you content, information that is absolutely top of news, and it's current. So, without further ado, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you my screen that, like we always do, and show you the new information that has popped up. You're going to see me that I'm going to be in the upper screen here, so you'll be able to see me talk as well. So I'm now, when you see me on the screen here, I'm looking up to my bigger screen and walking through. So as we do is we go to SBA.gov, and we are actually, you go to the site where you've got the lock there, and here's the latest that came out. We're going to have to get right to it. So right here on frequently asked questions 8/11/20, okay? So we can now see we have some updated guidance. And how do I know that? Is you go down to the bottom. All question answers published August 4th unless otherwise, and then EIDL. And that's the ones that we're going to go through. And then I'm going to go through a couple links for you, okay? So now we actually have new questions, okay? And the biggest ones I want to go through are, again, these are questions and answers for loan forgiveness, okay? So I want to go down to the EIDL, which is the new updates really. But also, here are a couple sites that you can go to. And so when there's hot links in here, you can click on those, and I'll go to the first one. The first one is how to calculate loan amounts. So this was issued June 26th of 20. This has to do, and I got a question yesterday about S corporations. So I was able to go exactly to the this article, and then I'll show you also where to go. And then scroll down to if I am a self-employed individual who reports my income on 1040. I'm gonna go down to 4. How does a partnership apply for PPP loans? Keep going down. The part is a maximum, and then I believe it is for eligible nonprofit number 7. Calculate for eligible nonprofit religious. I'm an LLC owner. What other structures apply to me? And let's see what other. If I'm self-employed and it's on certain times. Okay, that's at the end. Then if you go back to, and I think you saw me pretty much skip over it here. I'm a self-employed individual, and then here is self-employed employees, and so this is if you are a certain business type. Now, also, if you go in here, and it will also take you to this site, and this is from the home.treasury.gov. And the reason why I really like, and you ought to have it in your save it as a favorite, is here are all the PDFs and guidance that has come out, and it's on the Treasury's secure site. It's probably the most focused link and that I have found out there that has really related to how the CARES Act for small business, okay? And you can see here's a top line overview of what happened. Here is the report as of the certain dates, which I've been reporting on for 4 months. Then you have one for borrowers and for lenders, okay? And then the program rules, and they pretty much have it in ascending order from time period as you see everything that happened here. Although when I say ascending periods, basically I see over here that it might be an alphabetical, but anyway, and then the previous versions of applications, that means we're not supposed to. So these were the previous ones, and these are the program rules and finals. So I'm just letting you know that this link right here is just an incredible link to get you to any of the, you can point your CPA advisor or yourself to where all this information, now where this information was before and is still, is on SBA.gov. And you can see all of these hyperlinks here are more organized here on the U.S. Department of Treasury site. Okay, in my opinion, this is nice from the SBA. So you have them in 2 different locations to be able to refer back, and they're super easy about where, how you actually. Here's the report round 2, and this was the summary that I also wanted to show. So through last Saturday, we started out with around 510 billion for, and now it only went up by almost 15 billion, with the round 2 up until August 8th. And of course, obviously, one of the PPP extensions that is being considered now by the government is to take either funds that were not issued in this original CARES Act 1, or to issue new, but there's going to be new criteria because they want to issue the monies. So they're going to limit it to, there's lots of criteria. I'm not going to get into that. Okay. Now, if you go back to this, to the payroll, to the questions that came out on August 11th, which was just last night, you're going to see right here. There's a question that has been happening when you're determining your PPP loan forgiveness. And there's a piece that you have to pay 60% for payroll, and then you have to have the rest of the monies, the funds, used for covered utility payments, interest payments, and or interest on indebtedness that you had as of February 15th. This covered utility payments, okay? Interest payments on covered utility payments, which are eligible for forgiveness, includes a payment for a service for the distribution of transportation. So a lot of people have been asking, is that transportation, related to vehicles, company vehicles, things like that? So then all you did, I just clicked down here, and I wanted to get this to the center. Here is where it takes you to, which is the U.S. Department of Transportation. Now, again, you know me, I first look for the secure, no ads on this, which is phenomenal. And it's law, as close to law and guidance as you can get when you're dealing with a federal website. Okay? All right, it's not law, but it's basically the most guidance that you can get. And since they're referring it, the SBA is referring it outside of their website, this is the guidance that we should be following. Okay, so then that transportation utility fee is not transportation in itself. So the transportation, and again, I'm just looking for the definition over here on another website. The transportation utility fees are a financing method that treats the transportation system like a utility, in which residents and businesses pay fees based on their use of the transportation rather than taxes based on. So in the rule right here from the SBA, covered utility payments, utilities are electricity, gas, and then it says, say, transportation. It's now it's defined here as covered utility payments, a payment for a service for the distribution of, and that's where we go here for transportation. This is what they're referring to. So it's not vehicles and whatnot and all of that, of company cars and all that, and you thinking you can go get a car and all of and be able to write that off. No, this transportation, and here is an example, which is, it's really a utility fee charge for the transportation system in a city. And there you go, City of Oregon, and here's some other that may apply to you. Now, I don't know if these are all the projects that charge the transportation utility fee, but again, these were it says it's just example. So I would guess you'd have to go to your state and find out if you're in a city that actually has a transportation utility. I'm also guessing that's going to be on your utility bill, buried in utilities. So be careful of not double dipping. I don't know if this is a separate assessment or not, but Anyway, that's what they're referring to here. So the bigger eye opener here is that this is good. This is a new in going through the SBA site, looking for new information that we can bring to you that you can consider as a small business. Here is when I see different dates coming about. So now I know two places to go. I now know to go to the here to the Department of Treasury, and then I also know to go look here. Okay. Now let's go down to the final where it talks about the new EIDL. I'm gonna bore you a little bit and read it for you, but I wanna if they're showing this here, this is what's important. So the EIDL, the economic SBA, will deduct the amount of any EIDL advance. Okay, the advance, what we talked about, is the $10,000, and it was $1,000 employee. Those funds ran out in mid-July. So, but if you received an advance by a PPP borrower from the forgiveness amount remitted to the lender, how will the lender know the amount of that will be automatically deducted by the SBA? So here's the answer. If a borrower received an advance, and again, if you had more than 10,000 employees, that amount is going to be the total amount, and you'll see that deduct or actually deposited in your checking account, your business checking account, where you provided when you did the application. To remind you, this was the EIDL. What we're talking about is when this program is still open here for the EIDL, which is true loan, which is the 30-year, 3.75% one and payment in a year. But this application was the same application used for the EIDL advance. Okay, that advance turned out to be, yes, an advance, and it's completely forgiven if you used it for funds non-PPP, and it was deducted from your PPP loan based on the loan forgiveness calculation. That's what we're going through right now. So when you're looking at the amount deducted for the forgiveness, the lender will be able to confirm the amount of the EIDL that will be automatically deducted by the SBA from the forgiveness payment by reviewing the borrower's EIDL advance information in the PPP forgiveness platform. So because what you have to do is state and certify when you go in for the loan forgiveness on one of the forms. Okay. So for example, when you go in here, let's just go up to the program and let's go to the actual form right now, loan forgiveness. And then I'm going to go to the click here, download instructions for forgiveness application. This is the full. When you go in here and download, okay. And again, you're going to be, when you get through all the instructions, you're actually going to get to, and these are instructions explaining where this is. Okay. So now let's go back to, I want to not only do the instructions, I want to do the actual form. Okay. So let's do the form, and I will take you there. And let's just see. You're going to see where the advance is. Okay. So here is the EIDL advance amount. And then this application number was when you received it. And it ought to show up in two places. One, when you originally applied for your application here. At the end of this, it would have told you after you had applied, it would have showed you the number. And then secondly, it's going to be the number that you received the email once you got a follow-up email for an actual EID loan. Okay? Those are the two places that they would show up. By entering it here, what it's telling is that you're going to enter the advance amount and you're going to enter the number. That is how the SBA is going to know here for the loan forgiveness. And again, you're going to submit that loan forgiveness application to your bank first. Then the bank, after dotting all their I's and compliance, are going to send it off to the SBA. this is where the SBA is going to do their matching process on their end. How should a lender handle any remaining balance due on a PPP loan after SBA remits the forgiveness amount to the lender? Answer: if a PPP loan is not forgiven in full, including if there has been a reduction in the forgiveness amount for an EIDL advance, any remaining due on PPP loan must be repaid by the borrower. The lender is responsible for notifying the borrower the loan forgiveness amount remitted by SBA and the date on which the borrower's first loan payment is due. The lender must continue to service the loan, and the borrower must repay the remaining loan balance by the maturity date of the PPP loan, either 2 or 5 years. 2, if you elected the 8-way, if you received your loan before June 5th, and 5 years if you actually submitted your loan and got a PP loan after June 5th. Okay? All right. If a borrower is determined to have been ineligible for a PPP loan for any reason, when you originally applied for a PPP loan, you would have been you had to certify on those forms, and that's what they're talking about right here. SBA may seek repayment of the outstanding PPP loan balance or pursue other available remedies. Well, when you certified, when you did that second page there of the certification, when you actually submitted your application to the bank on the PPP loan, there were those certifications you made. So that's what they're talking. The remedies were they can come after you to find that. And then the final one: what should a lender do if a borrower received in advance in excess of the amount of his PPP loan? A borrower received an EIDL advance up to $10,000 and excess the amount of the PPP loan will not and so a PPP loan, maybe a self-employed, might have been $8,000. That's what they're talking about here. Received in advance and the amount of PPP will not receive any forgiveness on the PPP loan because the amount of the EI is deducted from the PPP loan forgiveness amount. The lender is responsible for notifying the borrower of the date on the first payment is due. The lender must. So what this is saying is if you had a advance of $10,000, you later got a PPP loan of $8,000. Since the $10,000 is by guidance here deducted from the PPP loan, the entire PPP loan that you would have received if it was under the EIDL for any amount is still a loan. So the borrower is going to have to pay that back. Just something there were many, and this will come into play when you have a PPP loan, maybe later on not in the second stimulus that came out, the second program, the second period for the CARES, when you have an amount there which was smaller, maybe for a self-employed Schedule C, that was smaller, but they failed to let the bank know about their original EIDL or possibly applied for a PPP and never even received an EIDL. There's a timing difference there. This must have happened. That's why these clarifications are coming up. Okay? All right. The next one that I want to talk to you about is the rules that came out last night as guidance and their update to the August 4th. So these are the frequently asked questions on the PPP loan forgiveness as of August 11th. And what those are updated. So anytime a new comes out here, you're able to go all the way down to the title. You're able to go down to the bottom. All questions and answers published here are published August 4th unless specified, which are these last three. So all of the other that we had in there were actually, they have not been changed since August 4th. So I know, and even as a reader, we didn't have to go back there and look at those. But then here are specific examples of EIDL, okay? And where that document is over on the SBA. And this is for you that are basically not totally relying on your advisors. You're taking this program in for you're driving the cart on this, and training you how to actually go to the sites that are safe, that you can find information and do some of your homework, so you just have a awareness of when you're hearing information on the internet, or your advisors are telling you something, or something to send off to your advisor or CPA. Okay? All right. So there's one, and where I found that, again, I went to SBA, and you're also able to go to this link here on the Department of Treasury. The most current that's going to come out, both should mirror each other. I'll do a little test later, just because that's me. But there was between the two of them, I'm going to double check both of them now as we go, both of those sites. Now, there's another one that I was at the IRS site, and I want to look at different any topics that they have. One of the reason why is to focus now, just real quickly, on the executive orders that President Trump signed on Saturday. Okay, here, let me check. Yeah, there's been no. I'm watching the White House. We're actually watching Congress right now talk and debate, what they should be doing and how to react, and they're pleading their cases on how they should react to the executive orders that were put in place by President Trump. Okay, so here we are. I actually go to the top, and one of the items that caught my attention was the expiring tax provisions. And so this little theme, I want you to be able to take this information and send it off to your advisor. And it is now August, and so here are a complete list of provisions. And again, the Joint Committee on Taxation is law, it's official, so that you'll be able to send this document off and have your advisor take a look at, do any of these apply to me and my business? Again, I'm helping you be proactive and sending information off, and here I'm going to point a couple things. So when you click on it, and don't worry, yeah, this is boring. This is what I do. The job is you're getting this spoon fed to you, so you can have an intelligent conversation with your advisor. Here's the list of the expiring 20 to 29, and all you do is you sit and just go, again, here's what's happening in 2020. So I'm going to point out a couple. Let me point out just a couple for you that we all know. Right here is the work opportunity credit. The work opportunity credit is when you employ somebody from a specific, for example, that has been in a prison, or there's 20, 30 classified worker statuses that, if they qualify, you're able to receive a tax credit on the entity tax return. If it happens to be an S corporation, you're able to then calculate it, report it at the S corporation. It flows through to the shareholders of the S corporation. Okay, we're all good there. So this work opportunity credit, that is one. Then there was the accelerated special depreciation. There's one here that I wanted to really show you. There's deduction for qualified tuition and related expenses. Okay. And then let me get you the one for not the biofuel. That's the Indian Reservation. Motorsports. You can see racehorses. You can see all the stuff in here. Treatment of premiums for certain qualified mortgage insurance. Some people that is available to them. Here's one. Exclusion from gross income of discharge of indebtedness on principal residence. If that happened to you this year, go look at this and see what that provision is in place right now to exclude any gross income and discharge of indebtedness on principal residence. Okay? I'm not going to get into the details or in the weeds of how you do that calculation. There's the section 108A1E, but if you can go send this over to your advisor, or if you're listening and you had this happen to you, gross income of discharge of indebtedness on principal residence, you know how we all do Siri, just put that in there and just say, exactly what that is, and see what comes up. Better than that, I provide links at hitechcpa.com for you to be able to download this and send it off. So if you're listening to this program while you're going down the road just to get information, later to go click on the link and send it off to your CPA or your advisor, whoever's advising you, and go, yeah, I got my house taken away, I sold, I did whatever, and does this expiring provision impact me? Or it's possible that's an event that might happen before the end of the year, and this might be something that impact you on your personal tax return. So the work opportunity. Now, the other one that is out there that you've already been exposed to is the employer credit for paid family and medical leave. That had to do with the FFCR, one of the first before the CARES Act, one of the programs that issued by the government. And that provision is expiring 12/31/20. Okay, you can see all of the two-wheel plug-in electric, alternative fuel vehicle refueling property. Look, all of these credits. So one, you may not even know these credits were available out there. Two, if they're expiring, you sure better make sure if it impacts you somehow, some way. Okay, all right. So now let's end up on this. I've shown you a bunch. And what we talked about is what is the SBA, had some frequently asked questions on loan forgiveness. We walked you through that. I walked you through where to find it on SBA.gov. I also walked you through an alternative site at the U.S. Department of Treasury, okay? And that site I will also post in at hitechcpa.com for you to click off a link. Those ought to be two bookmark for you. Again, one of the reasons I'm doing this is so that you can act and be knowledgeable and be intelligent as you're talking out there and filter through all the noise on the internet. You don't need to go 40, 50 sites like I do and watch. There's just, if it impacts your small business, I'm sending you information to go to that you can basically be updated. I did not get into the back and forth with the stimulus of what's happening. Bottom line, there has been no, other than the executive orders that President Trump issued, it is now execution with the states. And that's what the battle is right now. And how much more, if both sides agreed to it, how much more can be put in there? The Senate Democrats would like a lot more put in, and the Republicans would have given their stance on what they're willing to give and take. But the bottom line, it's just all talk. Again, until I take you to a SBA or a Treasury or a Congress.gov or a website that it is law, I don't see a reason to talk to you about this point. I'm talking to you about something. Here are credits expiring, looking a little bit past today, looking before the end of the day. You should be planning a little bit as you're going and go. I'm not going to get caught up in the day-to-day detail of what White House, Congress, Senate, Republican, what they're all arguing about. This credit could definitely help me more, a work opportunity tax credit, planning right now before the end of towards the end of the year. Okay. Well, hope that was some great information. I know it was. I spent it's been forthcoming to have a different platform right now for you to be able to watch this, and I hope that that you've gained something out of it and continue to watch. So my plan tomorrow is to continue to watch if there is going to be a CARES 2.0. And when I scour the sites, I'm looking specifically for something that would have affected you not just today, but possibly by the end of the year with your entity. Got today, yes, but I don't want to bring to you what's been happening. He said this, she said this, and here's all the website. There's plenty of people you can follow for that. Today is there are provisions expiring in 2020. There's a site on the IRS that you can go to that basically that lists all the information that the SBA, that I'm going to bring it to you and point it to you, spoon feed, and go right here. Just go look here and you'll be able to go right to it, read it yourself, do a little search on your Adobe when you have the PDF and get to the information. And then what? Send it off to your advisors. Have your advisors help you. They're sitting there doing what we're kind of, probably not as much as I'm doing, but they're there. That's what you have advisors for. If you don't have advisors being proactive, find a new advisor. Okay, that's it for the day. Have a great day. I will see you tomorrow. It's Mike Rasmussen, CPA Straight Talk for Small Business on Wednesday, August 12th. Take care.